The joke that changed everything. The room exploded with laughter. Not because someone told a funny story. Not because someone made a clever joke. They were laughing at me. I stood there holding a glass of sparkling water as my father's voice echoed through the banquet hall. It was his retirement party. Hundreds of guests. Family members. Friends. Former co-workers. People who had known me since I was a little girl. My father raised his glass and pointed directly at me. Then he smiled. "You all know my daughter, Emily." More laughter followed. Then he added, "She doesn't have a degree, doesn't have a real career, and still depends on family help. But at least she's good at spending money." The room burst into laughter again. I felt every eye in the room turn toward me. Some people looked uncomfortable. Others laughed because everyone else was laughing. My father looked proud of himself, as if humiliating his own daughter was the perfect ending to his retirement speech. I should have been angry. I should have cried. I should have defended myself. Instead, I smiled. I slowly lifted my glass. And I said something nobody expected. "Cheers, Dad." The room became quieter. Then I continued. "This is the last time any of you will see me." Now the room was completely silent. My father laughed. He thought I was joking. But I wasn't. I put down my glass, turned around, and walked out. I didn't look back once. What nobody knew was that I had already made a decision weeks earlier. A decision that would change all of our lives forever. And 3 years later, my father would be standing at my front door, begging. The daughter nobody believed in. People assumed my father was right. After all, I was 27. No college degree. No impressive job title. No fancy office. No glamorous life. What they didn't know was the full story. When I was 18, my mother became seriously ill. My father was always working. Someone had to take care of her. That someone became me. For years, I put my own plans on hold. I drove her to appointments, managed medications, cooked meals, cleaned the house, stayed awake through nights when she could barely sleep. While my friends were building careers, I was holding my family together. But nobody talked about that. When Mom passed away, everything changed. The appreciation disappeared. The respect disappeared. And slowly, I became the family disappointment, at least in my father's eyes. Every family gathering became another opportunity for criticism. When are you going to do something with your life? When will you grow up? When will you stop wasting time? He never asked how I was doing. He never asked what I wanted. He only saw what I wasn't. The worst part? Eventually, I started believing him. I convinced myself I wasn't good enough. That maybe he was right. Maybe I had failed. But deep inside, another voice kept whispering, "You are worth more than this. You deserve better." And that voice became impossible to ignore. The secret opportunity. A month before the retirement party, something unexpected happened. I got a phone call. A shipping company I had applied to months earlier wanted to interview me. Not for a small position. For a management training program. The opportunity was incredible. The pay was excellent. The future possibilities were even bigger. I almost didn't go. Years of criticism had destroyed my confidence. I was convinced they would reject me, but I went anyway. Then something amazing happened. The interviewer didn't see a failure. She saw leadership. She saw resilience. She saw years of real-life experience managing responsibilities most people couldn't imagine. A week later, I got the job. I remember staring at the email in disbelief. I had finally been given a chance. A real chance. But I didn't tell anyone. Not my father. Not my relatives. Nobody. Partly because I wanted to avoid criticism. But mostly because I wanted to prove something. I wanted my success to speak louder than my explanations. Then came the retirement party. And after hearing my father's speech, I knew exactly what I needed to do. Leave. Start over. Build a life far away from people who only saw my failures. The very next week, I packed everything I owned, accepted the position, and moved across the country. Without making any announcements. Without any dramatic goodbye. I simply disappeared from their lives. And started building my own. The rise nobody expected. The first year was hard. Really hard. I worked long hours. Made mistakes. Doubted myself constantly. There were nights when I sat alone in my apartment wondering if I had made the biggest mistake of my life. But every time I wanted to quit, I remembered that retirement party. I remembered the laughter. I remembered the humiliation. And I kept going. Slowly, things changed. I earned promotions. Built strong relationships. Learned skills I never knew I had. For the first time in my life, people respected me for my work. Not because of who my father was. Not because of family connections. Because of me. 2 years later, I was managing an entire regional operation. 3 years later, I became one of the youngest executives in the company. I bought my own home, paid off every debt, built the life people once said I would never have. The irony? The same relatives who laughed at me started hearing about my success. One by one, messages began appearing. Congratulations. We always believed in you. We knew you'd make it. Funny how success changes people's memories. But one person stayed silent. My father. Until one rainy afternoon, when the doorbell rang. The visit. I opened the door. And froze. My father stood there. Older. Tired. Nothing like the confident man from 3 years earlier. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then he quietly said, "Can we talk?" I invited him inside. We sat across from each other. The silence felt heavy. Finally, he spoke. His retirement savings had gone badly. Investments failed. Unexpected expenses piled up. His financial situation was worse than anyone knew. Then came the words I never expected. I need help. The same man who mocked me for years. The same man who told everyone I had no future. Now needed my help. Part of me wanted revenge. Part of me wanted him to feel exactly what I felt. Humiliation. Embarrassment. Shame. But something stopped me. Because becoming him would never heal me. So instead, I asked a simple question. Why did you come to me? My father's eyes filled with tears. And his answer changed everything. The truth and the lesson. He looked down at the floor. Then he said quietly, "Because you're the strongest person I know." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. For years, I had wanted his approval. For years, I had waited for him to see my value. And now, after everything that happened, he finally did. My father apologized. Not once, not casually, but sincerely. For every joke, every insult, every disappointment he projected onto me. He admitted he had spent years measuring success the wrong way. He thought degrees, titles, and appearances defined a person's worth. He was wrong. The person who held our family together wasn't him. It had been me. I helped him, not because he deserved it, not because I forgot what happened, but because I refused to let bitterness control my future. That day, I learned something powerful. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't making someone suffer. It's becoming so successful, so confident, and so fulfilled that their opinion no longer controls your life. The people who laugh at you today don't decide your future. The people who underestimate you don't define your potential. And the people who humiliate you may someday realize they were completely wrong. As for my father, we never erased the past, but we built something better. A relationship based on respect. And for the first time in my life, he saw me for who I really was. Not a failure, not a disappointment, but a daughter who never gave up, even when everyone else laughed.